Hello, friends. Hello and welcome. Welcome to yours and mine Cozy Corner. My name is Amanda, and on this channel, we talk about books, and more books. Hello, friends. Hello and welcome. So, as you guys can see, this is going to be my August TBR video slash library haul. So, I have not made a TBR video since February, and that's because I am mostly a mood reader. And even though I was sticking pretty well to some of the books that were on my TBR list, it just kind of got to the point where I'm just like, I don't want to be tied down to any particular books. I just kind of want to do it as I feel. But as of right now, I feel that the list that I have made, that I'm actually going to stick to it. And we will get to that in just a second. But before we do, I want to mention something about my bookcases back here. Now, for those of you who just want to kind of get to the video as far as the books that I'm going to read and which is the ones that I got from the library, I will put the time up here so you guys can kind of skip to that part if you want. But for everyone else, I wanted to mention that in my last video, I told you guys that I purchased another bookshelf. I didn't want to do that, but I really was running out of space. So I had to purchase another bookshelf in order to not kind of look like a hoarder with having stacks of books on the floor and that kind of stuff. But I acknowledge that even though I'm never going to put myself on a book ban, I also need to kind of slow it down a little bit in buying the books because I just don't have the space. Now, if I had more space, huge room, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I would have those books stacked all over the place, but I don't. So I do have to be mindful of that. Now, the good thing that came out of this, besides the another bookshelf, was that I was able to put the books in an order that made sense, because before I just kind of had them, just no rhyme or reason stacked in there, but I still was able to find them because I created a charting system. But this time I have them in a different order, and I do plan to make a video to kind of just go over that with you guys, and and then that way you get to see what books I have, and how I have them put together. But now to the meat and potatoes of this video. Again, this is going to be the August 2026 TBR, and these are books that I got from the public library. Now, actually, before I get there, I know you guys say, you just said, I know what I just said. Before I get there, okay, one of the things about slowing down and for me not purchasing a lot of books is the fact that, again, I don't have the space for it. But the problem is, not only do I love reading books, I enjoy buying books. It is that euphoria feeling that you get when you walk into a bookstore and you see all of those books. Some you read, some you haven't, most you probably haven't. That feeling that you get. I mean, I know you guys know because you're book lovers. You wouldn't be watching these videos if you were not. So I know you know the feeling that I'm talking about. So even though I tell myself, okay, well, hey, I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to buy as many books. It's like, but how do I take care of that other half? That other half of me that enjoys that feeling of purchasing books and those type of things. And I believe the answer to that is by getting the books from the public library. So my plan is to only buy books once a month. That's it. Just actually purchase books once a month. And I cannot purchase more books than what I read from the shelf. So if I only read 2 books from the shelf, then that month, or that next month, I can only purchase 2 books. If I read 10 from this shelf, I can purchase up to 10 books. And I think that would be good. That would keep me from not going overboard. Now, there is an exception to that rule. And the exception to that rule is going to be if it's on my book to buy list. Now, that is not an extremely long list for me. It is just a list that has, I don't even, it may be 15 books on there, possibly 20. I don't even think it's that. But it's books that I've had on the list for quite some time because I have not either been able to find the book at Book Outlet or the Goodwill or a thrift shop, or, I just have not been able to find that book at a discounted price. Now, yes, I could just go online and purchase the book at its regular price, but you guys who've been around with me know I'm a little bit frugal and I don't want to spend that kind of money. So I put it on the list because I've already read those books. They're great. They're going to go on my shelf over there of books that I've already read. So I'm patient. I can wait for it. That's going to be my only exception. So again, if I read 2 books, then that next month I can purchase 2 books. But if I see one of the books on that to buy list, then I can also purchase that book. I hope that made sense and I didn't, kind of jumble that up. And of course, yes, no one's dictating to me, how much money I can spend or, that kind of stuff. But I still like to have some rules and I like to be a little bit disciplined. And I think I got way too carried away with the amount of books that I have and constantly wanting to purchase books because initially I only purchased the book for the most part after I read it. But then when I started finding all these good books at the Goodwill and, for $1, $2, I kind of lost my mind. So anyway, I'm trying to rein myself back in. But the other part of that is the question I asked before is how do you fix that feeling of just that euphoria that you get? And I think that's by going to the library. And so today I went to the library and I don't know, I was probably in there about 2 hours. And I tell you what, guys, I got the same feeling of being in the public library surrounded by all of these books. I mean, of course, I couldn't even look at all the books that were in there, but I got that same feeling that I get when I go into a bookstore, into a Barnes and Noble, into a Book Familiar. I mean, I got that same feeling. Actually, it may have felt a little bit better because I knew I would be leaving out of there with books that I didn't even have to spend my money on. So So I think that I'm really onto something. We're going to see if I stick to it or not. I will let you guys know. So, you guys hold me accountable because this is something that I'm saying that I'm going to do. You guys hold me accountable. Now, to finally get to the books, let me tell you what I have. So before I actually tell you the books that's on the list, I have 2 books here that I did get from the public library, but they unfortunately will not be on the TBR list. The first one here is Birth of Dynasty. Now, this book is a book that I do plan on reading, and unfortunately, the reason that I'm not going to put this on the August TBR list is because as I was looking up, the synopsis for this book here, I noticed that it's a sequel that's supposed to come out in November of this year. So I would prefer reading this closer to November so that if I enjoy this book, then I can just go ahead and go on to the next book. So this one I will be taking back, won't be on the TBR list. Now, the second book that I have, guys, when I picked this book up, I ain't gonna lie, I just started laughing. I said, I know these people probably think, what is wrong with this girl? But the title was just hilarious. It's The Lonely Heart Attack Club, Project VIP. And then it has like this elderly couple on there dancing. I thought this was just so cute and funny. So I bet this book is probably like a comedic, it's just probably a very funny book. Unfortunately, this won't make the TBR list because as I was researching this, I found out that this is the 3rd book. So it's 3 books in this series. And of course, I want to start with book 1 instead of 3. So those are the 2 books that are not going to make my TBR list. Excuse me. Okay, guys. So the first book that we have is going to be Hush Harbor by Anise Vance. And let me go to my notes. So this book is actually the author's debut novel. It came out in 2023 and is 288 pages. This is a fictional novel that deals with social justice issues. So, after the murder of an unarmed black teenager by the hands of the police, protests spread like wildfire in Bliss City, New Jersey. A full scale resistant group takes control of an abandoned housing project and decide to call it Hush Harbor in homage to the secret space their enslaved ancestors would gather to pray. Jeremiah Prince, alongside his sister Nova, are leaders of the revolution, but have different ideas regarding how the movement should proceed. When a new mayor with ties to white supremacists threatens the group's pseudo sanctuary and locks the city down, the collective must come to a decision for their very survival. Guys, that sounds like that's going to be really, really good. If you've read this book right here, please let me know if you enjoyed it. Now, the next book that we have is Amity by Nathan Harris. So I actually read his first novel, which was The Sweetness of Water. I did this was in my January wrap up video of this year. So I will put that link below just in case you're curious about the other book, which was really, really good. This is a book that I've actually seen at Book Outlet, and I wanted to order the book, but again, I want to kind of go back to my old ways of reading the books first to see if I enjoy it before I purchase it. Now, this book came out last year. It's 320 pages. It is a historical fictional novel. New Orleans, 1866. The Civil War might be over, but formerly enslaved Coleman and June have yet to find the freedom they've been promised. 2 years ago, the siblings were separated when their old master, Mr. Harper, took June away to Mexico, where he hoped to escape the new reality of the post-war South. Coleman stayed behind in Louisiana to serve the Harper family, clinging to the hope that one day June would return. When an unexpected letter from Mr. Harper arrives, summoning Coleman to Mexico, Coleman thinks that finally his prayers have been answered. What Coleman cannot know is the tangled truth of June's tribulations under Mr. Harper out on the frontier. And when disaster strikes Coleman's journey, he is forced on the run with Mr. Harper's daughter, Florence. Together, they venture into the Mexican desert to find June, all the while evading two crooked brothers who will stop at nothing to capture Coleman and Florence and collect the money they're owed. Guys, that book sounds like it is going to be super good, and I'm definitely curious to find out what Coleman is doing with the old master, Mr. Harper's daughter. Why are they together? So that's going to be interesting. Now, the next book that I have is The Whistler by Nick Medina. Okay, and this is actually a book that I'm reading for. So I have 3 reading challenges that I'm participating in, and this right here is one of the books. Is for the anti-brain rot challenge, and it's the prompt was to read a book by a Native American author. So this is the book that I chose for that prompt. This book came out last year. It's 368 pages. So this is a horror novel that involves the supernatural and paranormal activity. For fear of summoning evil spirits, native superstition says you should never ever whistle at night. Hiram Holtar was on the verge of fame, gaining a following and traction with his eerie ghost hunting videos. Then his dreams came to a screeching halt. Now he's learning to navigate a new life in a wheelchair. Back on the reservation where he grew up relying on his grandparents' care while he recovers. He is being haunted by a mythological specter bent on stealing everything he loves. Sounds creepy. I really do hope that I enjoyed this book because there's another book, I cannot remember the name of it, that's written by the same author. People say that it's really, really, really good. So I want to, read that book as well. But again, this is for the anti-brain rot challenge, and I just hope it's a good read. Now, the next one I have is I Am Not Who You Think I Am by Eric Rixate. Okay. This book came out in 2021. It's 229 pages. It's a mystery suspense thriller. So, Waylon Maynard is just 8 years old when he sees his father, Pum Pum himself, finds a note that reads, "I am not who you think I am." Terrified, Waylon keeps the note a secret, but his reasons for being afraid are just beginning. 8 years later, Waylon makes a shocking discovery and becomes certain the note is the key to unlocking a past his mother and others in his town want to keep buried. With the help of two friends, Waylon searches for the truth. Together, they uncover strange messages scribbled in his father's old books, a sinister history behind the town's most powerful family, and a bizarre tragedy possibly linked to Waylon's birth. Each revelation raises more questions and deepens Waylon's suspicions of everyone around him. Soon he'll regret he ever found the note, trusted his friends, or believed in such a thing as the truth. Y'all, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but all these synopses sound great. I sure hope that these books are as good as they sound. All right, book number 5. This is The Man by Laura Sims. Okay, this is 304 pages, and this book actually came out July 7, 2026. So this is definitely a new release, just out, a couple of weeks. So this is a mystery suspense novel that deals with mental health issues. So, domestic suspense novel that follows a 1960s housewife turned amateur photographer who begins to fear for her life when she notices the dark silhouette of a man in the background of her self portraits. Now, that is a really short synopsis. The one and that's just me kind of summing the book up for you guys a little bit here. The synopsis is pretty long. I did read it in the library, and I won't bother with reading it to you. Honestly, based on that synopsis, I didn't know whether or not, I was like, do I want to pick this book up or not? I read it, I put it down, I walked away, did some other things, but then I turned around, came back, and said, you know what, let me pick this up. With this book, I'm not certain if I am going to truly enjoy it or am I going to think this book is a hot mess. I don't know, but that's part of the fun of reading. You just never know what you're going to get. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, book number 6. We Had No Rules by Karina Manny. I ain't gonna lie, I thought this was kind of a cool cover. Okay. So this one right here, this was published in 2020. It's 192 pages. This is a collection of short stories. It's a short story collection about the messy complications of contemporary queer life, following a cast of queer characters as they explore the choice of assimilation over rebellion, feeling the promise of a radically reimagined world, but facing complicity instead. I don't know. That should be interesting. And I believe there are a total, let's see, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it's 11 stories in this book here. Okay, guys. So the last one that I have is 3 Miles Past by Stephen Graham Jones. This came out in 2012. It's a total of 234 pages. This is also a collection of short horror stories. So, in these three novellas, the dead talk, ancient evil opens its eyes, and that guy across the parking lot, he's watching you and has been for a while now. Lock the door, tell yourself it's nothing, turn the radio up, it won't matter. You're already 3 miles past where you're meant to stop. Okay, Stephen Graham Jones, this sounds creepy. So this sounds like something that is right up my alley. So I can't wait to read this here. I can't wait to actually read all of them. Um, Now, can I guarantee that I'm going to stick to this for my August TBR list? No, I can't, but I really am going to try because they all sound good to me. Like I said, the one book is like, it's kind of questionable, but sometimes the ones that you think are not going to be good may turn out to be great. And the ones that you think are going to be great turn out to be not so great. So, we'll see. Again, that's one of the fun part about reading. So, anyway, if you guys have stuck around, which I hope you have stuck around to the end of this video, I just thank you so very much. And I appreciate you guys. Can't wait to see you next time. But before you leave, you know what I need for you to do. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay? Thank you guys so much. See you later. Bye.